Sanbonani, Dumelang Absheni, hello, Goeiemorgen, Goeieaand, Molweni, wherever you are right now, whichever part of the day you find yourself, I hope you're well. Keeping track of those thoughts and striving to be the highest and best version of yourself, welcome to it. This is the Jules with Gem podcast, and I am your host, GiGi. Before we get into today's topic, I would like to thank every single one of you for all the love and support you have shown me. I appreciate it so much. Let's jump right in. I am unpacking what love looks like in the modern age. I know, a rather morbid topic considering it's the month of love and all. However, I'm 1000% dedicated to keeping it real as to what I have picked up on and share my experiences with you. And by the way, happy Valentine's Day. Hope you had an awesome one with your loved ones and or your boo thang. I must say, when it comes to love in the modern day age, things have changed drastically. If I can compare it to the good old days when love was honored by both people, when people would stick it out and fix things instead of ghosting, and at least if there were to be a separation, that it would be on civil terms. I feel these days it's so rare to find love, let alone love that is true between two people. It's like our generation no longer has the privilege to see people grow old together. And even when we do see those couples, it's like they're few and far between. Like everything else in this world, we look so much to the media to dictate what is fashionable, what love should look like, and what it isn't. And if your love life is not looking like what the media is saying it should look like, you're gonna feel pretty crappy about your relationship, even though we are all aware of the fact that relationship dynamics are vastly different. We don't understand that there are different kinds of love and that not all love stories have the amazing happy ending. There is a season for everything. I feel sometimes that our judgment has, it's been clouded by unrealistic expectations. Nowadays, we think having sexual relations equates to a relationship. I seem to think that we as women now seek men to invest in us financially before we can even deem ourselves worthy enough to invest back into them. And our men, they are being scrutinized, completely ostracized if they have no job, no ambition or dreams, or are considered lazy. And we equate their success by the things that they have and no longer by the practical things that we are able to do for each other. So these days, we put up facades to get what we want from each other. And then it's a wrap. We can't even distinguish between what's real and what's not. We are so scared of commitment that we offer the bare minimum to the ones we claim to love just so that we can feel wanted, accepted, and appreciated. We even walk into relationships being emotionally and psychologically dependent on our partners to foot the bill. We leave it up to them to figure out things that we like and don't like. What? We put our own selfish needs ahead of others, claiming that we don't want to get hurt. We recycle excuses, all because we don't want to do the work necessary to heal. And most of all, learn from our experiences. Apologies, you say. Never that. Never received, even when people know that they have done us wrong. We say we want deep when we really just want to be balls deep in another vagina. We are actually in love with superficial things. We engage in shallow conversations because at least they make me look good, right? When I'm with this person, I actually look good. Or they can somehow advance my career or my status. So I stay with them. We now stay with people that we know are not good for us. Just because, we settle for mediocre types of relations with people that are void of a connection. And when we do find those connections worth exploring, we sabotage those as well. We are paranoid. We think that everyone is out to get us due to past experiences and memories that we share with people that are no longer part of our lives. We allow second and even third chances to people who we know will not change. We betray our own moral compass. Do we even have a moral compass these days? Because I find a lot of us just settling. We go against our better judgment even though we know our hearts are not being taken care of or even being taken advantage of. I must say though, because I feel that social media has a lot to do with it. I have a I have a love-hate relationship with social media, to be honest, because I feel it's all too easy to slide into the DMs. And we're sliding into the DMs of the person whom you told your partner they don't have to worry about. And we do this to soothe our egos when our relationships hits a snag. I feel there are far too many of us who are willing to drop everything only to be offered breadcrumbs. We enjoy hurting each other because we feel entitled and justified in our lousy actions of betrayal against one another. Since I'm an excuse such as "you never have time for me," but we knew very well from the beginning how demanding our partners' careers are and how important their careers are to them. We even seek validation from strangers to see if we still got it and settle for a moment of dopamine instead of reaching within. We don't seek counsel within ourselves at all. We seek it out in others. The very same people we seek counsel from are nowhere to be found when shit really hits the fan. Like when we need money for rent, when we need money for food. And at the same time, I love social media as it allows for you and I to connect in ways that, we never thought were possible. Now, instead of pen pal, we simply log on and the world is our oyster. We pick and choose from various profiles. Who will be the menu today? Is it going to be lunch or is it going to be dinner? We log on to connect with our peers and laugh over memes and call it a day. Guys, we even refuse to remove ourselves from circles where we know love is not being served. We stay there because, it makes us feel relevant. It makes us feel popular. And we console ourselves with, well, it's better than being alone. Even though that is exactly what we should be doing. We should be spending time alone. Because very often I find that a lot of people get to experience us, but we never get an opportunity to experience ourselves. Guys, I only have one question. What example are we setting? What are we doing? What tone are we setting for the future? Is there even a future for those that come after us? We at least have been fortunate enough. I think our generation has been really fortunate, to see those rare relationships that have stood the test of time. But what about those that we will leave behind? I was amazed the other day to see that porn sites have the highest daily visits. The highest daily visits. We say we don't like nasty and raunchy when there are almost more views than we can count altogether of porn videos. We claim we want the good guy or the good soulful girl when really we reject them only to want them when it's too late. We say we like good when we are secretly turned on by them bad. The deep, meaningful conversations are great until we start realizing why our partners react the way they do in certain situations. Our partners have been used, abused, abandoned, or we might have even experienced it ourselves. And it seems as though they have it under control until you realize that they don't seem to be as affectionate towards you. We claim to have high sex drives, and down the line we cannot deal with the leg, back, and vaginal pains that come with it. We claim we are experimental to sound fun when it comes to the bedroom, when really it's Tandela missionary. When we don't know anything at all. And when people do open up about how they were raised, we don't even comprehend the impact that it might have on our relationships. I mean, for example, if I think about it, if your partner was abused or abandoned as a child and that shit hasn't been dealt with, that is going to have some severe consequences in the long run. Or even if maybe your partner was sexually abused, will you be able to handle the days and nights when they are just not in the mood for intimacy? In these dating screets, emotional control and blackmail are the names of the game. To make us feel like we are in control and needed, whilst hiding deep-rooted insecurities, jealous tendencies, and anger issues. We are basically just a bunch of kids that refuse to grow up. We just want to poke at each other. No pun intended. We refuse for people to see the real us because we fear they might not like what they see. We fail to realize that actually opening up and showing up as our authentic selves would weave out the people who don't have our best intentions at heart. If I were to ask you today, if your partner were to be rendered disabled, would you still be with them? If yes, then great. That is amazing. You really have something there, and I hope your partner feels the same way too. And if not, you're definitely not alone. Because I feel like a lot of us don't ask ourselves these questions. We take everything for granted, and we only want to speak up about how we truly feel when the clock has stopped ticking. I cannot believe how now as a society we find it hilarious or even humiliating to post our significant other due to the fear of looking stupid, because somebody might just come in the comments and be like, oh, you also dating him, or oh my gosh, that's my ex, or just post something that's like totally inappropriate. And I mean, these are just some of the examples, and that I have experienced, and I have barely scratched the surface. And honestly, I am appalled by our behavior. I really am. Like, how, I'm asking myself, how did we even get to this point? But on the same side of the coin, I'm still empathetic towards all of these energies, because I will be honest, the reason why I'm even saying this is because my soul actually cries out to those people that hurt others, because I understand, I can comprehend that clearly they must be hurting from something too. And it sucks, it really does. Because often we don't even realize just how much we affect others. We just go around hurting others, not knowing that it might be their last days on earth. We are not forward thinking at all when it comes to love. And I guess, that's due to love being an emotional feeling. And, when it comes to logic, that kind of flies out the window. Because feelings and logic really don't, they don't coexist when it comes to making decisions, or even when it comes to love. Let me not even go too far. Let me not even go to making a decision. Let me just keep it there. When it comes to love in general, I feel as though we've all gone through some sort of heartache, whether it was related to romance or not. But do we ever just for a second just stop and think? Just think about how we affect others. How we may have altered somebody's self-image. How we may have drove somebody over the edge, literally. How our lack of self-awareness is actually self-destructive to those around us. We are balls deep in our own debauchery that we fail to self-introspect. We claim to love ourselves and others when we don't care at all. We don't care. We really don't care. I was actually involved with someone who was quite the charmer, sweet talker, gift of the gab, knew exactly what to say, handsome and smart, all of the good things we usually look for on the surface. However, under the surface was just a man that was full of passion, but he didn't want that to be known by other people. There were insecurities that were really unfounded, jealousy issues that were just a tad extreme. I mean, we weren't even dating, but the mention of another man was all of a sudden threatening. I really didn't understand that. And I just felt like he had an overall lack of self-knowledge. I was shocked. I really was shocked, because he seemed to hide behind emotional manipulation. Like, he enjoyed the whole ghosting, the running hot and cold, like, that player energy. You guys know what I'm talking about, and I think he used this as a means to control me. However, I could see right through it, because little did he know, because we hadn't really discussed like our past relationships and stuff like that. He didn't know that I had been there, done that. And no matter how much I actually liked him, I was just not about to give into that energy. I was not. So I decided to be the girl to cut it off without an explanation, quickly out of his life, just like that. And I guess, I can't really be mad at the fact that he still wants to play the field. Hey, all the best to him. And I will admit, there are so many beautiful women out there, honestly. Ukuba indoda kunzima, guys. Like, we are so beautiful. We all have something unique to offer these men or these women, depending, which side you play for. We all have something to offer. And so, honestly, I feel like they really do have a hard time. They really do have a hard time trying to see which person they should actually give into and commit to. I get it. They want to play the field. He wanted to play the field. But unfortunately, I am not the field, so You know, sometimes we just gotta see it for what it is. See the red flags and be out of there faster than Hussein Bolt and Flash combined. It is what it is, and well, if what it was. But when I do look back, honestly, in hindsight, I'll thank him one day. I think my encounter with him made me realize that I need to have stronger boundaries, definitely stronger boundaries, and to just never overlook things that, you know, would make me feel uncomfortable, and to just kind of speak up, you know. And he also made me realize that people really will treat you according to what you let them get away with, and not really what you do for them. Because you can move mountains for people, and you will still be met with the same lack of appreciation, lack of respect, just a lack, period. Like, how many times have we heard people say, oh my gosh, I did this for him and he still went and cheated on me, or oh my gosh, I've sacrificed so much for our relationship and this is the thanks that I get. We've all heard people say that. We've all heard people complain about that. But I think people will only treat you according to what you let them get away with. If people know that they can't really get away with much, you're not really gonna be challenged in certain ways. Like, they will respect you to a certain degree, you know, but it's not even about what you do for them. It really isn't about that. It's just about how far they can get with you, you know. It's kind of like kids. You know how kids will like test your boundaries, kind of like that. But moving forward, I can make better decisions, and for that, I am deeply, deeply grateful and thankful. I really wish I had more positive, a more positive outlook to share with you guys, but unfortunately, all of the above mentioned are realities for a lot of us. And I just wanted to share the reality because, honestly, most of us, really, we are not... I don't even think that we'll ever reach the fairy tale version that we have been sold. Most likely we will not even attain it in this unfair, cruel, cold world. Somewhere, somehow, I think we are not being realistic. Or at least we are not being shown the true realities of what is happening around us. I also think it's quite delusional for us to think that we have it all figured out. No. We know absolutely nothing. God, we haven't even scratched the surface. And our illusions of control is what messes most of us up. If I can leave anything positive behind, though, I will say that I feel that love is basically the highest form of understanding. You understand yourself deep enough to comprehend and understand and be compassionate towards other people. And it's like, for me, I compare it to no matter what, the universe always shows us love, even though we don't, even though we seek to destroy her, you know. But I also feel like the love needs to come from self first, and then it needs to be poured outwardly. We've all heard the term, the adage rather, that we can't pour from an empty cup. And, hopefully the way you understand and love yourself is also healthy. Otherwise, then you're just pouring out toxic waste. And listen, we have enough of that. We really do. It is to our own detriment to be so unloving towards ourselves that we cannot even recognize those that do. As Tupac would say, real eyes, real lies, real lies. How are you going to see real when you're not even real towards yourself? As Miss Lauryn Hill would say, how are you going to... I actually have it in my mind, but it's something along the lines of, how you gonna win when you ain't right within? That is what she says, yes. How you gonna win when you ain't right within? Because currently we are living in a world where we are scared to love, scared to breathe, scared to be, scared to stand out. And, I'm not a guru at love. I'm not a guru in anything. I'm just merely sharing my experiences. I may not know the full depth of what love actually is. However, I do know that it is absent and void of the debauchery that we are currently experiencing and seeing in these streets. I also believe that love will always be a catalyst for change within us because it is the strongest emotion. And to some extent, I do blame technology, social media, for we now seem to have an automatic need to seek validation externally because we equate 1,000 likes as actual approval. But as I said prior, I also appreciate technology for its ability to make me a part of a global village. On a side note though, when you know better, you do better. This trip around the sun is all based on love and the lessons required for us to move on to the next phase of our lives. I really hope you enjoyed this, or that I at least gave you a different perspective. Let me know in the comments if any of this resonated with you. I would love to hear your experiences. Let us connect. Do look out for many more. Please do like, share, subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss a beat. You know what to do. Now do what you do. On that note, stay evolving, stay conscious, and stay real.